disclosures from anonymous workers. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the premise of the show. The callers you are about to hear today are anonymous. No names or locations are used in order to protect these innocents so that they can share their wild, crazy, and maybe even guilty stories from work. Paul and I have no idea what we're going to hear today.
Let's do this. Hello, this is Failed Disclosure with Paul and Clint. You are anonymous on the air. Please remember not to share your name or anything about your work or whatever. And what would you like to share with us today?
Okay, so I got a story.
He's already out of breath.
Let's
He's
go.
excited. He's like fired up. I love it.
It's juicy.
Lay it on us.
Yeah. So when I was younger, I wanted to get bigger, and I worked at a supplement store. Long story short, I decided to try steroids for the first time.
Legal or illegal?
So me
don't want to disclose.
Illegal.
I
like
appreciate
a vial
the
and everything. So this was completely new to me too. So I'm like YouTubing how to get a needle into skin, all this stuff.
Okay. All right.
I would have watched like a sports movie where like you just shoot in the butt, right?
I'm like, I want to do something illegal. I don't know how to do it though. Okay, go on. This is
great.
I
had to YouTube it.
Great start.
Yes. So, and I think I literally YouTubed how to take steroids. And you'd be surprised with what came up at the time. But
Clint's
at the time,
right
I was the manager. Yeah, I was the manager of a like a supplement store.
Gotcha.
So I was kind of in that field already. And one day at work, I get myself all prepped up, get the courage to do this finally. So normally we are slow around like 1:30. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back in the office and I'm going to do it right now.
Let's get pumped up.
So I go back to my office, take my pants down. And at the time, those cool boxer briefs that were like longer were like the in thing. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, I had to take my boxers down too.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there pretty much naked in the back of my office with a chair and this YouTube motivational video going to finally jab a needle into my quad.
I can do this.
It's like Rocky playing.
So yes, that's what I'm telling myself. And this YouTube video got me all pumped up. So I start doing the jumping method where you just tap it and it's supposed to fall in. Well, after a minute, it didn't fall in. It just hurt. It felt like I was just stabbing myself repeatedly. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to have to go in and just shove it in there. Like,
oh no,
stop being a bitch. Okay. So finally, I just stab it. Like, it's all the way in. And all of a sudden, my hearing and my vision my hearing goes, my vision starts to close in. So at this point, I'm having a panic attack / heart attack. I don't really know what's going on, but I was like, you can do it. Just push this stuff in and you'll be done. You'll be like Arnie tomorrow morning.
You can hear tomorrow.
So I finally start pushing in this stuff, which is actually kind of hard to push in because it's like a gel. And all of a sudden I hear bing, bling. So someone we have in. The door alarm. Someone came in.
Okay.
So I yanked this thing out of my leg
needle in the
with
hand.
like a lightning speed. Blood squirts because I actually hit a vein. Thank the Lord I didn't push it in.
Oh.
So I am literally scrambling around naked. I take the trash can. I'm pushing all the gel in the trash can. I slide the vial of testosterone under this little desk. And I'm like trying to think of where to hide the needle. So I hide the needle in a return that we had of a Waybolic protein shake. And I'm freaking out. I slammed the office door and lock it. At this point, I'm like legit I dial 911 on my phone just in case I start to fall down.
You can't hear anything.
You went from full pumped up to just sheer terror in 5 seconds.
Everything's
fear.
wrong.
Yes. And to be honest, at that point, I'm telling myself this YouTube video did not work. They did not teach me how to properly do this, and it did not work at all. So I lock the door. I'm shaking. My hearing still isn't there, and I get a knock at the door. And it's my boss, who is the district
The
manager.
story just keeps building.
And I am like, so I have to open it. So at this point, I'm like, okay, well, I'm, gonna
get
lose my
fired.
job. So I open the door.
Going to
He's
jail, gonna die.
like, yeah, he's like, why is there blood everywhere? I was like, sorry, I have a
your
bloody
pants
so
nose.
calmly.
My button-up T-shirt is untucked. He's like, why? Like, tuck your shirt in. You look horrible. And I'm just holding
you
on to
dying
dear
right
life,
now?
like,
Do you not know how to take steroids?
thinking, yes, I'm
help
thinking
you
that I'm dying at that time. So I'm just like holding on to the thing, and he's like, okay, well, probably don't sit in the office, with the door shut. And I was like, going
go
forward.
die out
not
there.
I was like,
go die outside.
not feeling good today. Yeah. And there's blood all over the floor from me literally taking the needle out of my skin so fast. He's like, well, clean this blood up. Like, this is gross. And, yeah, the second that he left, because I was like, I just don't feel good. Like, I wouldn't be here. So he's like, okay, I'll go to another store.
Yeah, dude, I wouldn't be here
Long
either.
story
You're
short.
bleeding.
Yeah, so he leaves. I finally, literally thought the FBI was going to be watching me after this
Of course.
failed attempt and tracking my YouTube video.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I went back onto the YouTube video of how to do steroids. Definitely tossed a dislike on there. Turned off notifications.
Where did I
For
would
that
have been
viewer,
watching
'cause
that
it
over and over?
did
Like,
not
where
work.
did I go wrong?
You didn't even watch all 3
Yeah,
minutes.
it has probably 100,000 views of that video, and probably 50,000 were me. And he failed me.
The other 50,000 are also have great stories to tell.
That person needs to be sued.
They may be dead. I don't know. We don't know what happened to those people.
Oh my gosh!
But yeah, that was
what a fantastic
that was my story, and
Okay,
I was
so,
never able to do it again. I
so what
had to do
what
everything
happened? Though? Were
orally
you
after
fine? Did it just wear off? Did you get jacked? Did you?
Yeah.
How long did you bleed? Like what happened after that?
What happened? I think
Did you
I
get
just
fired?
gained weight because I was still eating like a diet that was supposed to be a steroid diet, like McDonald's every day and everything else. But
That's a steroid diet. McDonald's.
I
Every day?
just stuck to protein after that.
It feels like a Always Sunny in
But now,
Philadelphia.
if any-
Matt gets jacked.
Oh yeah, like I literally thought, because I was 19 at the time, I thought I would wake up just like Arnie, like I'm gonna win a couple of $1,000 on a fitness show, because I pumped some testosterone into my leg. Little did I know.
So working at that is a fantastic story. Thank you we've had some zingers today. What are do you have any other interesting stories from the health food? So also, I would say in general, because you did a hell of a job, I want to hear about more of your work career or any other kind of crazy work stories if you got them in the bag.
I mean, I don't know if I have crazy work stories. I have sketchy work stories
Those are better.
that would definitely tie into that, but I mean, I'll just share really quick. So as a 19-year-old kid, that is completely broke, like managing a store like that isn't crazy money. And I love supplements. So when people would return stuff, even if it was technically when you would do a return, we're supposed to mark if it's unopened or opened. If it's unopened, we
They're all
obviously
opened
were
and
supposed to
half
put it
missing.
back on the shelf. Oh, all open, and
Steroid
I
needles
would
inside of
push
them.
that. Yeah, that's how I would move it, definitely. But so people would come in, and if they would buy that same product, and I would mark that it's unopened, but I have an extra one, I'd be like, our card reader's broken. You have to pay cash for that. So then I would ring it up, and then boom, there's an extra $100. So as a 19-year-old, I was like the one buying my friends dinners and stuff like that because
Banking.
I was making an extra
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and how else?
$200 or $300 a week, which now is nothing. But as a 19-year-old, I was like, let's
Oh,
go, boy.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
and how else are you going to buy those steroids? I mean, you got to have the cash for that.
Right?
It's gotta come from
Steroids
Those
are
were-
expensive, man.
I had to save up for those, definitely. And what a butt.
I have some buddies. This is not uncommon in retail to like figure out like a hustle to steal
Sure.
the money, right? And I had some buddies in high school that figured out, and hopefully, actually, no, I hope this still works because it'd be hilarious. They worked at Domino's or Pizza Hut. I want to say Domino's, but they would apparently, and this was like we were juniors and seniors, right? And they were in a different state. I knew them from like football all-star camps or whatever. They would flip it into training mode. And apparently in training mode, everything looks exactly the same, except for at the bottom of the receipt, it just says like training mode. So they could rip it off. These dudes were pulling in like $40K a year between like 2 or 3 of them. They were like rolling in these like super ridiculous cars. They were scholarship athletes, so they all got
So they were making pizzas, but they weren't counting into the...
Exactly. Yes. And they're like, oh, it was easy. We just like ended up... They had a process down where like they would just go buy some flour because it was cheaper, right? They'd like replenish they were basically running it cheaper than the Domino's. They took a lot of money. And then some of them were like scholarship players or some of them, like it got so big and nobody ever caught on that they just stopped one day. Never got caught.
That's awesome.
Crime pays, kids. Well, hey.
So what you're saying is that we should franchise a Domino's right now.
I think yes. I feel like he's going to go YouTube that right now.
Yeah, I'm sure there's exactly. It's probably got 100,000 views.
YouTube, how to rip off Domino's.
Oh, that's so fantastic. Well, thanks so much for calling in and giving us that story. Yeah. I am now all over YouTube.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Googling all sorts of illegal activity just to see if I can learn about some things too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Google and take some steroids right now.
YouTube, how to get double COVID assistance. But thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, man. That was awesome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
I'm Paul Jarrett.
And I'm Clint Runge. Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to check us out and subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, make sure next time you're taking a shit to download the Apple Podcast app and give us a review.
They help us know how we're doing, and if you like the show, share it with a friend or two.
You can find us on Facebook at Fail Disclosure and our personal pages on Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Thanks for joining us today.
This is Fail Disclosure.